Want to learn about one of the best kept sales secrets in the mattress industry? We'll be discussing that with Mark Klingenberg, National Sales Manager of Instant Comfort, on episode 20 of the Pete Primeau Show. The show is brought to you by my free Facebook group, Pete Primeau Sales and Marketing. Find out more at peteprimeau.com. This week's guest is Mark Klingenberg, National Sales Manager for Instant Comfort. Welcome, Mark.
Thanks, Pete. Great to be here.
So I'm going to start this off with a little bit of a bang. The first time I ever heard your name brought up, it was brought up by my friend, Pat Leonte, who's the buyer at Wayside Furniture. And he told me that you were the best sales trainer ever in the history of our industry that he has ever seen train. And I looked at Pat and I got real sad and I said, better than me? And he goes, Pete, believe it or not, he's better than you. And I'm like, oh my Lord. So yeah, that's high praise. That's high praise, dude. Because up to then,
very high praise. And I respect both you and Pat very, very much. So wow, what a compliment. Thank you.
So now you got to live up to it for the next 50 minutes, brother.
I'll give it my best.
So we have a lot of different people that listen to this show. We have owners of stores and we also have salespeople. So I want to concentrate on just the sales piece at the very beginning here. Because in your training, you just did a training that was fabulous at Gardner's Mattress and More. And, you know, in today's new world, we had to do it virtually. And it was a smashing success. Everybody was really excited when I called them back when we got off the phone. And what I want to ask you is this, you know, you are one of those rare people that you haven't been on one side or the other. You've been on both sides. You've been a retail salesperson. As a matter of fact, you've sold over 1,000 number beds at retail, which I don't know of anyone that's done that. I'm sure there might be somebody out there, but in the time frame that you did that, I am sure that that is a record that's unparalleled. So you not only see and work with a lot of RSAs, but you also were an RSA and you understand the mindset stuff. So let's just start with that, because I think before you add product knowledge to a salesperson, his or her mind has to be right. And there's something that you always talk about in all of your training. And that's belief in your product. And I want you to talk about that just a little bit, because I think it's really important.
Sure. Glad to. So as you mentioned, a lot of my career has been spent on the retail side of the mattress selling industry. It's been a privilege and honor. Been a part of some tremendous sales teams, and the opportunity for salespeople, really what I call shoe leather opportunity, where when customers walk in the door, they need to see that there's a whole market segment out there of people that are shopping for customizable products, products that both fit the need of a couple in particular on both sides of the mattress, both today and in the future. And that's where the number bed market comes in. There are some other customizable products out there using foam technology. But on the number bed side of the fence, you have the utilization of pressurized air systems with literally dozens of comfort settings on each side of the mattress. So each individual gets exactly what they want on their side of the bed every night. And if a sales pro can catch that vision, which was part of my experience back in the day when I was selling retail, I found out that on top of my spring foam and hybrid products, there was a significant opportunity made available to me when I started carrying a high quality number bed product, and it became a significant part of my personal production. As you mentioned, I sell over 1,000 number beds personally. And now this is over a probably 5 to 7 year time frame. So this is on top of all of my other bedding sales as well. But it was very, very significant. And I was able to compete in a market that had a tremendous number bed presence, and I was able to compete effectively with a high quality product. And my firm belief is, and I've said this to people that are looking at the number bed market, that instant comfort is truly unparalleled in a lot of ways for some very objective reasons that I'm happy to get into when we talk about feature benefit.
I'm so tempted to go into it now, but I want to stay on this track. So one of the
Okay.
things that I beat salespeople with over the years, both reps and retail salespeople, is your professional education, you understanding your competition, the intel that you get. And I want you to tell the story of how you would do two things at once. Number one, you would demonstrate to your customer that you knew your competitors probably better than they even knew themselves. And number two, how you demonstrated uh, product knowledge, knowledge of your competition, and to such a degree and with such mastery that they literally would come back to you almost every time. You know
Certainly.
what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do. So,
Okay.
firstly, let's just lay the foundation. For me, the holy grail of all bedding sales is to find what best fits your customer. Okay.
Yes.
Who cares what I like? Doesn't matter. Who cares what other salespeople prefer? It does not matter. What matters is what fits their needs best. Okay. So what's critical there, and we talk about this all the time, and you've heard me say it, Pete, a number of times, is early on in the process of working with a customer and presenting to your customer, you want to let them know if you have a quality number bed product, hopefully instant comfort on your floor, and you're a full line mattress store or mattress department, you're able to say to them, listen, we have the best in class in every technology. We have, if you prefer springs, we've got a lot of spring options for you. If you prefer all foam, we have a lot of all foam options. And now that may include memory and latex and other hybrid foam beds, but we have that for you. If you like the hybrid feel, a blending of the two technologies, we have that. But we also offer a number bed option that allows for customizable support and comfort on each side of the mattress that may be a great fit for you both. Now, a lot of people, especially in a full line mattress department, may not be aware that you carry that technology, and the fact that you mentioned it to them actually brings out an opportunity for the salesperson, which looks like when you mention it and they say, "Oh, you carry number beds. I did not know that." Uh, Definitely would be interested in that because we have shopped the competition, or we intend to shop the competition in the near future, and we would love to see what your number bed offers. Well, now you know you're in a dare to compare situation, which is they're already interested. The pump is primed. The wheels are turning when it comes to number beds, and you're able to give them a full blown presentation of a number bed. Now, if it's something they like, great, but it may also eliminate that category, which allows the RSA to move on to other categories on their floor. It's an open ended presentation. Okay. It is very hard, however, when you give an expert presentation where you're able to narrow down the perfect setting on each side of the mattress for a couple. It's hard to beat that. especially if their preferences are so disparate. So in our world with Instant Comfort, we have 45 comfort settings on each side of each mattress. And so if one couple, a member in the couple, like my wife, likes a 43 on her side of the mattress, much firmer feel than I prefer. I like a 28, which is a bit softer. We both get exactly what we like in the same mattress. Now, uh, here's the other critical piece to that. If 28 stops working for me, I can refit my mattress to my current needs, and maybe I prefer a firmer setting in a year or a softer setting. It really does not matter. So one of the things we say about Instant Comfort is that it is the mattress that changes with you, the number bed that changes with you. And to your point, when you're able to talk about your product in a very detailed and expert way, that we offer 45 comfort settings, that we offer 2 dedicated remotes, that we offer a wireless option in an app that comes included with every bed, that we're able to offer a flex head, which is a split top mattress that a lot of customers love, especially couples, because they're able to articulate the head of the bed individually. They can also articulate the foot of the bed to a certain extent horizontally without disturbing their partner. So there's an even greater level of personalization when it comes to what couples prefer in their bed. In fact, we talk about the flex head being the perfect bed for couples. So this entree that we offer all technologies, that our store, our mattress department is a one-stop shop. You don't have to go anywhere else to find every technology that you may be interested in. We have it all right here. That is a powerful value presentation for a salesperson. And one of the things I teach, and you believe this too, is that every time you get an affirmation of a statement, you're one step closer, right? To
You are.
first of all finding what's perfect for them, okay? And then the sale is a natural conclusion of that whole interaction. And so number beds, talking about them, being very comfortable with presenting them, can be and should be, with the amount of number beds being sold here in the US
Well,
alone.
let's talk about that.
Yeah. So the number bed market in our industry is, 1.7, 1.8 billion. Our primary competitor is doing a fantastic job. They do a wonderful job of both marketing and sales. They're very diligent in their presentations, and they have an advantage in this sense that all they need to focus on is their technology. Now, I am very cognizant for RSAs that they have to be general practitioners. They have to focus on all of the technologies on their floor and know enough about all of them to maintain a high level of expertise. And number beds, the presentation of number beds is very hands-on. If you can't demo the product very succinctly, very expertly, and help the customer to know that this is the way to get the most out of the number bed technology, if you let them kind of fumble through the process, they're not going to see the value the way they could if the RSA gave a really well-honed, practiced presentation of a number bed before they turn over the keys and let them take it for a test drive.
Yep. Yep. And the same is true with adjustable beds.
Absolutely.
You have to have that presentation dialed in. Um, and, I love products where I can differentiate myself from my competition And so this is, if you're a retailer out there, I would just ask myself, what makes you different in the marketplace to the retail customer? And if you guys are letting Sleep Number run away with it without being challenged at all, when they're doing over $2.8 million per store, then
Unheard of. Amazing.
you are being foolish. Somebody has to go after that business and get it. And we have some very successful retailers that not only go get that business, but get it with great margins, but more important than margins, happy customers that will come back and buy other things from you again and again. Now, they may never buy another mattress for the master bedroom again, because it really is a forever bed. And we're going to talk about that in a second. But I love products where my product is stronger, where I have 45 comfort settings versus 20, where I don't charge for remotes. My competitor charges for remotes, and I give 2 free remotes with every bed. I love where my product, I know, is stronger and they're weaker, and there's not a darn thing they can do about it. And there's something else that we're going to get into in just a second. But one thing I wanted to say, if you guys are watching this on video and you have to go, and you know that we're going to be here for a while, and we are going to be here for a while, because I am not going to let Mark go without extracting as much of his knowledge as I can in about 50 minutes. So I want everyone to know this show's available as a podcast on your favorite platform. You'll find links to my show on all the platforms by going to peteprimeau.com. And Mark, I'm back to you. I'm done with my little commercial. I get a little bit excited, and one of the things that I believe that every RSA they have to believe in their product. You have to have a good feeling about who you work for, and you have to have a good feeling about what products you're selling, and you have to understand what you're selling, and you have to understand what your competitors are selling, and you have to understand why yours is better. And you have to be able to prove that to a customer. And listen, being better for better sake doesn't matter. When I say better, I mean it gives a better result. It gives a better experience. Your customers wake up happier and more pain-free in our product than any other product. You have to have that level of belief in your product. And one of the things that Mark suggested, if you can say that you have the best of all these technologies, you separate yourself from all the other stores in the area. Some stores carry innerspring. Some carry innerspring and hybrids. Some might carry innerspring, hybrids, and latex. But very few, usually zero, carry everything, including number beds that change with you. So, Mark, I'm sorry, I kind of rambled. You have that effect on me when I hear you talk. I guess we're both
No
true
worries, Pete.
believers. We're both true believers in the kind of experience that this product can deliver. So what I want to explore with you is your personal experience with number beds as a consumer. And then after that, I want you to talk about how you were recruited to do the job that you do now, and what you were looking for and what you were most impressed by what you learned. So that'll keep us going for the next half hour. I'll interrupt
Sure.
every now and again.
Please do. Anytime. So, hearkening back to my retail experience here in Dallas, Texas, early on, we decided that we really need to expand the array of products that we wanted to offer our clientele. And we went on a hunt for a very high quality number bed. We found one. Now, this is back in the early 2000s. Okay. Instant Comfort wasn't around to even choose from. We found something that was really, really good, and I did extremely well with it. And I've been sleeping personally on number beds for about 15 years now. I'm a true believer in the concept. I can't imagine sleeping on a bed every night that I cannot adjust to my personal needs. We talk about the fact as you age, as your body changes, gain weight, lose weight, uh, pregnancies, sicknesses, all of that, you're able to customize the mattress. So early on, when I got rid of my old spring bed and moved to a number bed, it was a great answer, both for me and for my wife. For we each got exactly what we wanted. Now I've been sleeping on the Instant Comfort Q9 now for about oh 2.5 years, and I have to say that we both agree it's the finest number bed that we've ever slept on, and we sleep on a king flex head, so we're able to also adjust the head of the bed independent from each other, as well as the foot to a certain extent, without disturbing your partner. So, as I already mentioned, I like a 28. My wife likes a 43. She raises the head of her side higher than I do at night. Although I do elevate my side of the bed, she elevates her foot a little bit more than I do on her side of the mattress. So there's just such a high level of personalization and customization in the feel of the bed and the support that the bed affords on each side of the mattress. And that is the main value proposition for number beds. Now, it utilizes a pressurized air system, and that really is the heart of the technology in a number bed. And I want to speak to that a minute. Um, some years ago, I was traveling as a national sales manager for another high quality company and doing a great job. Um, I really enjoyed my time with them, but that relationship ended. I hopped back into retail and got some really up to date hands on experience in a high volume mattress department again. And that was a lot of fun. Had a great time. And then I had a call from somebody that I used to sell my prior number bed to, and he introduced me to Instant Comfort. And he said to me, he was a buyer. He said, "Mark, I want to introduce you to Instant Comfort and the owner of the manufacturer that manufactures Instant Comfort, which is American National Manufacturing, based out of Corona, California. They also have a plant in Kansas City, Missouri." And he made the introduction. We talked together, and I had the opportunity to see the beds in action. And I told the owner that I'm very particular about number bed technology. I know what I'm looking at. And I told him I'm basically going to tear your bed apart. And he said, I completely understand. In fact, he tore the bed apart for me, which is really easy to do because we use a top zippered cover design, whereby all components in the cover, in fact, every component in the bed is easily accessible due to the zipper system built into the mattress. And the more I got into it, the more I saw how the number bed was constructed, the more impressed I got. And it just began to check the boxes of all the things that I knew made up a quality number bed, and some of the things that I had wanted for years and could never get in my prior experience. So when I saw that, I started getting really excited, Pete. I saw the potential for this product. Now, just a note on this: American National Manufacturing is not primarily a consumer bedding company. They're a durable medical goods manufacturer that manufactures hospital beds in incredibly intricate, highly technologically advanced number or actually hospital beds that utilize pressurized air systems. So, for instance, they actually make air pressurized air mattresses for bariatric patients that weigh up to half a ton, that will both support them as they recover from an illness or surgery, but they also have a version that rocks the patient back and forth using an air mattress slowly, totally utilizing a pressurized air system so that the patient doesn't get bed sores. Okay. They also make a mattress that has a slow air release system that quietly blows and gently blows air around a patient to keep them dry so they don't get bed sores as well as supporting the patient in the mattress. I say all that to say that when you're dealing with pressurized air systems, you really need to know what you're doing. Okay, because you're dealing with a sealed system. You have dual diaphragm motors, you have solenoids that you're dealing with, you have hoses, you have chambers that have to be reliable. And the pedigree of my company is specifically dealing with pressurized air systems on both sides of their business model, which is in consumer bedding as well as the medical side. And I will say I'm very proud of my company and the way they've responded during COVID, because they have been extremely active in the manufacturing of hospital beds, and the demand, as you may imagine, has skyrocketed throughout the pandemic, and it continues. They've done a marvelous job rising to the challenge, and they're also doing the same thing on the consumer bedding side with Instant Comfort.
So, one of the problems that if you have a consumer that had a airbed 20 years ago, and one of the things that they might say that they didn't like was that it was bowing out on the side. Did it shock you when you looked at the number bed and saw that they had already solved that problem?
I was thrilled. Instant
Yeah.
Comfort, the number bed by Instant Comfort, manufactured by American National, utilizes something called a Loctite edge support system. And you're exactly right. One of the issues with number beds utilizing a pressurized air system is that when a customer lays down on the bed and they adjust it to their preference, the sidewalls of the chambers will push out against the side of the bed. Okay, and if you're depending on the cover of the bed to maintain structural integrity in the mattress, what's going to happen is that fabric will stretch over time. And what then happens is the bed can get loose. It'll bow out on the sides. It will bulge from top to bottom. It will bow from the foot of the bed to the head of the bed, and then things get loose inside the mattress. Now, the way American National addresses that with the Instant Comfort product is that they utilize what's called a Loctite edge support system, whereby the side rails are locked into each other with a high tensile piece of fabric, and it's wrapped from the inside out. So side rails attached to side rail, rails attached to foot rail, which locks the rails in position. It also does something interesting in that the more the chambers push out against the rails actually take the pressure and relieve the pressure off of the cover of the mattress. So what that means is everything's going to stay nice and tight. And for a retailer, it means that visually, the all important visual presentation is going to stay really nicely presented, in that everything's going to be plumb, everything will be square, and the customer's not going to sense any issues with looseness, the issues that arise from a loose number bed product. And when I saw the Loctite edge support system, I have to tell you, when we zipped that open and he demonstrated that for me, I was ecstatic, over the moon that issue had been dealt with in that manner, because what that means is the chambers stay tightly butted up against each other, but they have completely independent travel top to bottom, because they're still not attached, but they do not separate. So there's not a gap in the middle. And that's the way they addressed that issue in the number bed world.
Boy, that leads us right into the ledge effect that you can get with a competitor, but I have to pay the bills. So I'm going to read, I'm going to take a minute or two, a chapter from my Sell a Million book. And before I do that, uh, anybody at home that already has my book, go to page 77. It's chapter 49, Leverage Social Media. There has never been a product known to mankind that lends itself to social media better than number beds. But let me get through this and then I'll get your take on this, Mark. So, how to profitably leverage social media is still a question mark for many store owners, yet its social power and reach cannot be denied. Therefore, figuring out a social media strategy for your business is something you should do. The best advice I can offer in this limited amount of space, if you're not using social media today, go to Amazon.com, search for the latest books on the business use of social media. Look for authors who have the best reviews and study those authors. My favorites back when I wrote this book were Sean Malarkey, James Wedmore, Paul Castaigne, still is Paul Castaigne, Amy Porterfield, still is Amy Porterfield, and Gary Vaynerchuk, also known as the infamous Gary V, uh, who I still think is very significant, along with James Wedmore. The only one that's kind of fallen off is Sean Malarkey, but there are some great people out there to learn from. Two in our industry that I would highly recommend are our friend Jeff Janakovo at Gardner's Mattress and More in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and Trent Randberger of Trent Beddin in Bowling Green, Kentucky. These are two stores that do a great job with social media, and you would do well to study what they do. And these are guys that you can actually call and they'll help you. I mean, they're just great ambassadors for our industry. In the meantime, here are a few practical pointers for leveraging social media. Focus on creating relationships with people. Offer valuable tips and advice. Become a trusted resource. Engage in conversations and articulate how you can help improve their lives. Uh, there is a sales trainer, and he is one of the best sales trainers, and he does not interact. He just posts stuff and he never interacts. Big mistake. Focus 90% of your time on engagement. Create a fun and informational Facebook fan page, or social media is changing by the day. It may be a different social media going forward. Use a lead gen magnet to help you create a list. That means to capture their email and their name. Offer special promotions when available to your social media friends. Never exceed doing this 10% of the time. So, can you promote on social media? Yeah. Can you do price promotions? Yeah. Should you do it often? No, absolutely not. Should not do it often. 90% of what you should do should be to engage and educate your consumer. And Mark, you travel throughout the country and you have relationships with dealers throughout the country. Would it be safe to say that the most successful retailers are the guys and gals that have learned how to use social media?
Oh, it's a huge piece for the marketing strategy, certainly. Reaching out through all social media platforms. And you're exactly right. Your value proposition really needs to be building rapport, building relationship with customers long before they ever walk in your door.
So, one of the things that you were saying is when you were interviewing for the job that you have now, which by the way, you're awesome at, um, you insisted on looking under the hood. And ladies and gentlemen, I don't care what industry you're in, you should always look at any episode that we do. Right now, we're doing a deep dive into instant comfort and the advantages that they offer to both retail consumers and to retailers. But this is a huge lesson. I've already mentioned it, but it bears repeating. It's so important. Where is my competition weak, and where am I strong? And does it make a difference? And that question is answered uh, by the over 1,000 beds that Mark sold when he was in retail. He knew that his main competitor refused to demo a bed. So what did Mark do? I'll let him tell you what he did. Mark, take it away.
So when Pete's referring to demoing the bed, what we talk about is exactly what he said, lifting the hood and being willing to be proudly demonstrate the construction of the bed. And one of the things that Instant Comfort lends an RSA, or what I call a sales pro, is the ability to zip open the top panel or any panel in the mattress and actually show them, for instance, the reversible top panel that has, in the Q9's case, a phase change cooling technology, or a temperature regulating technology, and bamboo on the other side, so you can actually flip over the top panel and it will zip right back on. You can show them the pressure relieving comfort layers in the mattress and let them touch it, feel it, see what it is. You can open up the bottom section of the mattress and show them the 24 gauge cotton reinforced vulcanized rubber chambers that are extremely durable, 600-pound weight limit per side. And you can show them the Loctite Edge support system. You can demonstrate the steel reinforced air hoses that are kink and pinch resistant. You can show them the quick release air valves. So if a sales pro likes to demonstrate the construction of a product, which I always encourage. I mean, when I was a full line furniture salesperson, I love to demo feature benefits in my products. Okay, because it's a value building exercise. It's a value proposition that you're showing the customer. Now, you don't want to overload them necessarily with too much information, but as long as you see them engaged in your presentation, nodding their heads, actually touching and feeling the components of the product, you know they're engaged in your presentation. Okay, and our product lends itself to that. We want you to do that, and this is not a demo unit that sits on top of a mattress. You don't have to do that with us. Our beds can be opened up, and you can actually show the customer all the individual componentry inside the mattress, which really engages them. Okay. So, because number beds typically are a premium price point, especially the flex heads. When you have a flex head, you're going to also be selling power bases, because you won't sell a split top, aka flex head mattress, without selling the power bases underneath, because the flex head is designed to work on adjustable power bases. All right, so you can articulate the mattress as well as adjust the comfort level on each side. So you're demoing. You know, you're getting into demonstrating the power base presentation, which is a major emphasis right now in mattress departments and in sleep shops all across the country. One of the metrics that is being measured constantly is power base attach rate. And just a plug for FlexHead, our FlexHeads have a power base attach rate of 100%, because you don't buy a FlexHead without buying the power bases. And once a sales pro is onto that, they love presenting the number bed technology, but also the FlexHead technology with the power base. And quite frankly, it meets the customer's every need, because you're able to both adjust the support and comfort level intrinsically in the mattress, as well as customize the articulation of the mattress on each side of the bed.
And for those of you who are not in the industry, we're talking about premium products. So um, easily $8,000 to $10,000 for our top of the line um, split head in a king with ultra premium bases. And by the way, that same uh, bed at our biggest competitor is what, about 15, $16,000 mark? Is
Well,
that about right?
their top their top of the line mattress. The last time I priced it out with their most feature rich power base was, you know, 11, $12,000, and it is obviously definitely a premium price point. And we have a lot of different options in flex heads in particular. And I would like to tell all of your viewers that flex heads, depending on the time of year for instant comfort, when we take snapshots of our sales, flex heads are the vast majority of our sales, bar none. It's an instant attention getter on the floor. Um, the perfect bed for couples story is really hard to beat. And once a sales pro gets comfortable with the number bed technology and flex head in particular, if they're really good at selling power bases, and they should be, because it's such a major emphasis in the industry today, they take to the flex head like a duck to water. They absolutely love the technology.
So, what are the lessons for sales pros that are not in the mattress industry based in your on your experience? You know, a guy or a gal that wants to sell more and sell more profitably. What are the takeaways from your experience and what you see? Um, Forget about, you know, our specific product. What are the takeaways?
As it pertains to selling number beds. Is that what you're asking?
The lessons that we learn selling number beds that translate to all industries.
Okay. So here's something that becomes very apparent when you begin to demo a number bed, and it is the major challenge for selling, uh, bar none, whatever you're selling, but in a mattress department in particular, is that people's comfort levels vary drastically. Even if you have a couple where one person says, you know, I can sleep on anything. I can sleep on the floor, and any sales pro that's been around for any amount of time has heard that many times. And then they put them on a number bed, and they actually qualify the customer on a number bed. And guess what? That person also has a preference as to what they prefer. So when you are being able to sell a number bed, you actually get to the heart of the matter, especially for a couple, in that each person has a preference. And one of the beautiful things about selling number beds is that you can actually qualify them, help them discern what is best for them very quickly on one mattress. And that has also been the bane of our industry, in that we know that if we demonstrate too many mattresses, the customer gets on what we call experiential overload, sensory overload. They begin to lose the ability to discern what's best for them. And for a long time, what we taught in our industry was the Goldilocks presentation. In order to be able to qualify a customer for what's best for them, we had a softer, a medium, and a firm. But the truth of the matter is, we also know in the back of our minds when we're doing that, that we've been taught that on the fifth laydown, the customer is on complete overload. So we're burning three of those opportunities just to qualify the customer before we try to find what is optimal for them as far as support and comfort.
Yeah.
When you're selling a number bed, you can do it on one mattress very expertly and very quickly, relatively quickly, without confusing the customer, find out what's perfect for them, and you can literally use that number, whatever that number it is, and discern what is optimal for them, not just for number beds. Let's say they want to try a spring foam or hybrid bed that has a comparable feel. You can very quickly, if you know your floor well, direct them to something that's close. Okay.
Yep.
Now, the real challenge comes in that, like with my wife and I, she's a 43, I'm a 28. It's difficult to find something that is a compromise between those two things in other technologies. Okay. And that's really, really typical. So there's a couple of things that come to the fore here. For every customer that says to you, I can sleep on anything, and then you put them on a number bed and you qualify them, guess what, Pete? They have a preference.
Yeah.
They actually do. Okay.
Yeah.
Sure they do. Okay. And that's why one of the things we also call number beds is our number beds by Instant Comfort, is that it is the no compromise bed. Each person in a couple gets exactly what they want on their side, and their significant other does the same. Okay. So that is a lesson that comes to the fore very quickly when you get good at presenting number beds as an option to customers.
Yeah. People buy for their reasons, not our reasons, and getting
That's
them
right.
to come out with their reasons quickly and efficiently in a presentation. One of the things that I say, why every sales pro should demo a number bed early in the conversation is to save time. So I was working a sale at Wayside Furniture, as a matter of fact, and they were the couple was completely uncomfortable with the technology, just did not like it one bit. But when they walked off of that bed, I knew exactly what they liked. I told the sales pro, this is what they need, this is what they like here, and this is what. And within 5 minutes, they were walking out with an $11,000 latex sale. And
Awesome.
that's the beautiful thing, is it saves you time. Jumping around from bed to bed can be very uncomfortable for a customer. Doing all the qualifying right there on one bed. And by the way, that one bed has so many features and benefits that are substantially better and serve the customer better than your competition, who, by the way, is more money. It really makes a world of difference when you can say we have 45 set-ins versus 20. And by the way, we have this, that, and the other that's also better. And by the way, and I'll never forget this, Mark, the first time we worked a big sale together, and I watched you and I said, man, this guy's good. But the customer walked. And I'm like, how the customer walked? That's crazy. And they waltzed back in there like 2 hours later, and they said, are you sure that this bed costs XYZ? And you looked at it and said, yep, it costs XYZ. Do you know that their bed is on sale and yours isn't? And yours is $1,500 less and it's better?
Yeah. It's a
And
powerful
but
proposition.
it really is. It really is. So I want to pivot a little bit. We've been talking about sales. Let's talk about store owners that um, uh, store owners that survived COVID this past year, store owners that are being commoditized in almost every category of product, store owners that their advertising cost is higher than it should be, and figuring out uh, the most efficient way to advertise is becoming a real trick box for most retailers. Um, why is instant comfort number beds more important today than they were 5 years ago. And they were important 5 years ago.
Certainly. That it's a burgeoning segment of the market. It is ever growing. And if you want to sweep some of that business, you have to have a high quality number bed product on your floor. Now, to your point, there's a couple of things I would like to highlight here. One is that real estate on owners and managers' floors is at a premium. So they're trying to merchandise as effectively as they possibly can. They can't be too wide in scope, but they have to have enough there that they're able to address the major market segments. Okay. And with instant comfort, and I tell buyers this all the time and owners, the beautiful thing with us is that you don't have to have 10 SKUs on the floor. Okay. You don't have to have 6 SKUs on the floor. 2 to 3 is a powerful presentation when you have flex heads with 45 comfort settings on each side of the mattress. Pete and I talk about this all the time, that a typical mattress department can have anywhere from 25 to 75 SKUs on the floor, right? So
Yep.
one of the things I tell buyers is that my mattress has an entire bedding department's worth of feels in one mattress, because I have 45 comfort settings on each side of the mattress. And then when you add to that the flex head configuration, which allows for individualized articulation on each side of the mattress, you have that much more customization. So there's a lot more bang for the buck in pure square footage on your bedding department floor. Now, I am a traditionalist in that I prefer at least 3 SKUs. I like a good, better, best option always in anything. It also shows confidence in the category. It's really hard to demo confidence in a particular category when you have one bed on the floor. Okay. So I always do prefer at least 3. And then the ability to say for a retailer that we carry the best in class, and we've talked about this before in this podcast, that we carry the best in class in all technology, spring, foam, hybrid, and number beds, basically is reinforcing the fact that we are a one-stop shop. You don't have to go anywhere else. Okay, when you're looking at bedding. So you're really getting a lot for your investment. And then you have RSAs, sales pros, that catch the vision of what number beds have to offer. It may be brand new concept to them. Maybe it's something, a technology that they've never presented before or sold. But then they actually, in their demonstration, they start to catch the vision for what this product can offer their clients, and they always include it in their presentation. They always mention it. They always talk about it, and they begin to sweep more and more and more of that business, and it shows up in their sales totals. And nothing inspires like success. So when that happens, they catch fire, and you'll see them starting to sell more and more flex heads. Their power base attach rate goes up. Their average ticket goes up, and it's a beautiful thing when that happens.
That's awesome. I don't know what else to talk about. We talked about mindset. We talked about attitude. We talked about intel, knowing your competitors. Mark, you know, I've talked about, bringing the customer to a place where you're strong and your competition's weak. When your main competition will not demo a bed and you do a great demo of a bed, you have a clear cut advantage. And, sometimes customers don't believe it when you tell them, and then they go shop and they're like, they come back and they say, I can't believe it. You're right. They would not show us the inside of the bed. They just absolutely refused to show us the inside of the bed. That to me is what PhDs in selling do. You find an Achilles heel, you find a weakness, and you exploit it. And, you know, it happens every time. And it's crazy. The first time I heard you say it, I'm like, he sounds like he's really sure about this, but is he? And then when that customer, we were working with that customer on that sale, I was actually watching you work. And then they came back and they were like, yeah, they wouldn't show us what was inside the bed. We couldn't believe it. We tried to make them and they wouldn't do it.
Sure. So the way I always approach that with a customer that uh, didn't buy immediately, okay, that they wanted to cross shop. Let's say they hadn't gone to our primary competitor yet at that point. I would always thoroughly demonstrate the mind number bed technology by opening it up, showing them all the layers, all the feature benefits. They could touch the foams, they could touch the chambers, they could see every component built into that bed. It harkens back to many of the times when I've shopped cars. I mean, a good car sales pro is going to sensitively, I mean, they're not just going to blast you with facts and figures, but they are going to sensitively demonstrate the features and benefits of the automobile. And one of the things they're always going to do is lift the hood, and they're going to talk about the engine, and they're going to show you the componentry, and they're going to open up the trunk, and they're going to show you the square footage in the trunk, and they're going to talk about the emergency release and all of the features and benefits involved in selling automobiles. Well, my product lends to that, in that, again, you can, using that template, you can lift the hood on my mattress and show all of the componentry. So the way I approach that, if I had a customer who said, I still want to shop the competition, all right, uh, I knew my competition. I had shopped them, and listen, I hail them. They do an incredible job. They're very, very incisive and detail oriented in presenting the feature benefit of the bed. But in general, in my experience, I have never seen them being willing to unzip the mattress and show them the internal componentry, right, in the mattress. So what I would always say to my client is, okay, if you're going to do that, I totally respect that. Here, the nearest competitor to my store, which I knew very well, I would give them the address, which really kind of took them aback. And I would say they close at such and such time, so you'd probably want to get over there. And I would say to them, after they do their fantastic presentation, you're going to see a wonderful presentation from them. Okay, I always talk positively about them, and their numbers speak for themselves. I mean, they have taken that market segment by storm. All right, but I would always say to them, don't you agree that I did a very thorough presentation of this product, in that I opened it up, I showed you every component in the mattress, and the only challenge I would give you is when you go over there and you experience their presentation on their product, ask them if they have a zippered cover, and if they do have a zippered cover, are they willing to open up the bed and show the componentry? And this is all anecdotal, but I will tell you that I have had customers come back to me same day and say, Mark, they wouldn't do it. And I saw the componentry in your bed, and I experienced the feature benefit in the bed, and I see the value here. So I would want to buy a number bed from you, and let's move forward. That was my experience. And again, that's another powerful presentation. So for a retailer, beyond being able to say we're a one-stop shop, we have all technologies, which, by the way, that's also the strength for a full technology retailer, in that they have everything on their floor. Our primary competitor in the number bed category, their strength is their challenge, in that all they have is the number bed technology. They don't have all foam. They don't have hybrids. Uh, they don't have spring systems. They don't have a full array of products to present on their floor either. So it's really a do or die when the customer walks in the store. So it's really a double-edged sword for a retailer to be able to have a high-quality number bed product to that end, being able to very well, very succinctly, very expertly, and full disclosure, because you're able to open up the bed and demo every component in the product, in contrast to our extremely successful competition.
Mark, I can't think of anything else. This was awesome. Any retailer out there that you are saying, hey, this sounds good, I should be getting instant comfort. If you're in Ohio or Western PA, call me 419-560-3169. And if you're anywhere else in the country, Mark is a national sales manager. His email is going to be shown in the lower thirds. That's Mark at Instant Comfort. And Mark would love to talk to you, and I would love to talk to you about what Instant Comfort can do for your store, not just increase in sales, but helping you to position yourself as the leading authority in the in the mattress arena, without having a number bed to offer to your customer. Your selection is incomplete, and it makes you a complete retailer, and it makes you an expert in terms of your positioning. And ask the guys that have been successful with us. Ask Jeff Janakovo at Mattress and More in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Who are some of our other success stories, Mark,
Oh,
throughout the
we got a
country?
number of them. The ones that let us talk about them, we've got a great
Yeah,
success story up in Syracuse, New York.
yeah,
A lot of retailers like to fly below the radar, as you know, Pete. But
yes,
we have
absolutely.
we have retailers that are doing hundreds of thousands of dollars wholesale with us every month. Okay, but that's in addition to all their spring foam hybrid beds, and they love the fact that they're showing number beds and flex heads in particular. Just want to highlight flex head again, because it's such a major part of our success story. If you take a snapshot at any time during the year, it ranges generally from 70 to 80% of our overall sales are in flex heads, which just helps you in all of your metrics. Your power base attach rate, your overall your average ticket, your overall volume is going to increase. Profit dollars will be affected positively by carrying flex head number beds on your floor. So again, we'd love for you to take a look at the number beds by Instant Comfort. You can go to instantcomfort.com and check out the full array of products that we offer. Feel free to reach out to me at mark@instantcomfort.com. Would love to discuss that with you. And of course, if you're in Pete's area, definitely reach out to Pete with the backdrop of his expertise and being able to carry number beds as well. He will bring a lot of value to that discussion when you reach out to him.
Thanks, Mark. I appreciate you. I know you're a busy guy and you have probably another call waiting for you because we ran over, but thank you so much for coming and sharing. And, listen, any good salesperson that watched this, whether they're in the industry or they're not, they learned something about selling today. And any business owner, regardless of whether they're in the industry, they've learned a lot. And if you are in the industry, wake up. Seriously, wake up and call us We have a lot to offer. It's one of the last real profit centers that can really position you as the expert that you are, and really elevate you in the eyes of all your consumers, not just consumers that are looking for number beds. So with that, I'm going to say goodbye. Goodbye, Mark. Thank
Thanks,
you.
Pete. Thank you so much. It's been a privilege being with you on your podcast. Have a great
Thank you.
day.
You too.